Okay guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Complete Noobs Guide to Minecraft. This is Travis2888. This episode is all about mobs. Very quickly, this is just a little chart to show you where mobs are going to spawn. So within 16 blocks of the player, mob spawners will activate. Now mob spawners are a specific item in the world. They'll be covered in monster hunting in series 2 of the Noobs Guide. And then you've got all the other things basically. So between 16 and 24 mobs will spawn. Between 24 and 32, mobs don't move, they will just stand around and they will despawn randomly. And then there's that massive gap between 32 and 128 where mobs just stand around. If you move 128 or 129 blocks away from a mob, it will automatically despawn. So that's just a basic idea. I'll go into detail a little bit more in Series 2, like I say, with a few of the other videos. And the purpose of this video is just literally to give you guys an idea of what to expect, what the animals look like, whether they're aggressive or passive, whether to attack them or not. So we're going to jump over into the noob world, the noob flat world, and I will show you what these creatures will look like. So first off, we're going to look at passive mobs, which are basically, they won't attack you. If you attack them, they will run away, but all of them will drop food, or they're useful in some way. They're worth having around. And again, episode 7 of this series will show you how to kind of farm animals, how to pen animals, and all that sort of stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. And right, so we've got the pig first off. Standard thing. It's all common sense really. You kill a pig, it'll drop pork chops. You cook the pork chops, and then you can eat them. All of these passive mobs are really straightforward. They all make sense as to what they would do. So sheep. Again, sheep won't attack. If you attack them, they'll try and run away, but you can shear them for their wool. And then we've got cows. Now, cows, when you kill them, will drop leather, will drop steak, which can be cooked, and then you've got cooked steak. And also, if you get an empty bucket, you can milk a cow. Then with chickens, chickens will lay eggs naturally every 5 to 10 minutes, so chickens are quite handy to have around. Eggs, as far as I can tell, can only really be used for cakes, potentially pumpkin pie as well, but I'm not sure. I need to check the recipes and stuff. But again, that's going to be episode 6 and 7 is animals and food. So, right, and then you've got squid. Squid will only spawn in the water. This one, the water currents have obviously pushed it down to the bottom of the lake, so you can't really see it that clearly. But squid are only really useful once you start dyeing wool. Again, dyeing wool and pixel art is going to be a episode in the second series. And then wolves. Wolves are an interesting one. You can see there, as soon as I spawned it, it started chasing that sheep. Wild wolves will automatically attack sheep when they're nearby, without any prompting. However, if you get some bones, you can give the bones to the wolf and then tame it, and it will follow you around. You can tell it to sit, and if you come under attack, the wolf will attack your attackers, if that makes sense. Now, if you leave a wolf somewhere, it will stay there until you come back and get it. Mushrooms, these are very rare usually. Some randomly generated maps will have an area called Mushroom Island, which is something I will cover again in a later video, but they're basically cows with mushrooms, so you can get mushrooms from them and milk and steak, as before. And then finally villagers, they're the last passive mob. Villagers will only spawn in NPC villages. If you attack one and kill one, the other villagers won't do anything about it. They're just a general kind of background character to have in your game. Makes it seem a little bit more like there's actually people playing. Also, maybe in a later update you may be able to trade with villagers and things, but we're going to wait and see as to what they do with that. So that's your passive mobs. You know what to expect now, and like I say, they all look fairly normal as to how you'd expect them to. So monsters. First off, creepers. Now these guys are a pain. These guys are the monsters you want to avoid, because if you go near them, they will hiss and they will explode. Now obviously if you're building a house and you hear a hissing, you want to run away, because otherwise it's going to explode and destroy what you've built. Skeletons, these guys have a ranged attack. You'll notice it catch fire. The skeletons and zombies catch fire in sunlight because they're undead monsters. So the skeletons have a ranged attack. You can usually hear if you're being attacked by a skeleton because of the twanging of the bow. And then spiders. Now spiders will spawn, unlike other monsters, they will spawn at all times. They'll be around during the day and stuff, but spiders will only attack when it's dark. Most of these aggressive mobs will only spawn in dark places, either nighttime or in a cave or something like that, whereas spiders will be around, but if it's daytime you don't need to worry, they won't attack you. There is one other thing about spiders that's worth bearing in mind, is that if I just hit that one, you can see spiders can climb. This applies to both types. I'll cover the others in a second. But it's worth bearing in mind if you're building defences and stuff. Be aware that spiders can still get in. And then zombies. Zombies are your standard zombies, really. They'll just amble about and try and hit you and try and eat your brains. Slimes. Now, slimes, unlike other aggressive mobs, can spawn in daylight. In fact, they're more likely to spawn if there is light in the area, but they will only spawn, I think it's something like 5 or 6 blocks or less to the bedrock, if that makes sense. So on your y-axis on your map, check out episode 1 if you want to know how to use your map. On the y-axis, 6 to 0, basically slimes will spawn, and only in certain areas of the map, which can make them quite difficult to find. Endermen is something I'm going to cover in greater detail in a later video for the end. Basically, they're monsters that they won't attack you unless you attack them, but they can teleport and they will move blocks as well, so you want to be careful for those guys. And then you've got the cave spider. Cave spiders will spawn underground, normal spiders will spawn above ground, and also underground in some cases. But the cave spiders, you can see, are slightly smaller, got a green tint to them. They will poison you, so you have to be careful of that while you're playing as well. And then finally, silverfish. These guys will be inside stone blocks. They won't be just roaming around, so you may find when you're mining, you'll come across a block that has maybe 3 or 4 silverfish in it, so you've got to be careful of that. They're fairly easy to kill, but like I say, if there's 3 or 4 of them coming at you, they're quite small, it's difficult to hit them, but there you are. That's all the identification you need. You can now see, you've seen what they all look like, you've got a rough idea what to expect. Hopefully I've given you a little bit of an assistance, maybe something you didn't know about one of the mobs or not, I don't know, but hopefully it's helped, and I'll cover other things like the nether mobs, like magma cubes and things like that in series 2 with the nether video. I hope you've enjoyed the video, so look out for episode 3, which will be coming out soon, and as always, like, comment or subscribe, and I will catch you all later.